recorded. Made you proud to wear Jay's hats. Made you proud to say where you at. Made you proud to say where you from. Coined the city called T-Dot. Made it hot, now the 6 is where it evolved. Yeah.
It's wild to meet you. I'm glad you're here, man. Thanks for this.
Oh, man. Thank you for having me here. I'm feeling really good.
What happened that it's time for a new record? All these, almost, 20 years later?
A lot of stuff was happening, but I was recording. And one of the things that really hit me was the fact that I would have people remind me of stuff that I did. Because, like, you would always sometimes look forward, right? Like, you're like, what am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? But then I would go out or do a show or something like that, and people would come up to me and be like, I remember seeing you over here, and I remember this, and I remember that. And they make you reflect on some of the stuff. Like, some people, they'll be like, I met my wife through your music. One person told me, it's like, yeah, I was walking through, it was a bush party, and I couldn't find the place, and I heard Robin.
Yeah.
And that's how I found the party, and at that party, I found my wife.
Yeah.
And so they invited me to the wedding.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And so stuff like that. And so all with that going on, I figured that I wanted to go and chart my life between those 13 years, roughly. I'm looking back just at everything that was going on and the type of music that helped me get by.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to call it transit music because especially going into winter in Toronto is cold.
Yeah.
So like, you get on the train or the bus and a bunch of people, everybody's got big puffy jackets on and their Timbs and their jeans and everything.
Yeah.
And you put your headphones on and you just truck your way right through. You just go. And that's what I was doing. And so with this album and the music that's involved in it, it's one of those things where you could put it on and go from your one to the two.
And plow through the Canadian winter.
Yeah, exactly.
Listening to it.
Standing on the top of Mount High, screaming out, yo, these guys. For me, it ain't all about swag. It's the lyrics and the money in the bag.
I want to talk a little bit about how you got into hip-hop in the first place. So what I was reading about you is that your brother was a really big deal in your neighborhood, in your community. Roger, was that his name?
Roger, yeah.
Yeah. And he was, and people used to call you Junior.
Yeah.
Because you were kind of running around, chasing him around at his ankles. And then I'm trying to put this together. How did he get you into hip-hop?
One of my friends told me, to other people, they say, don't give Shocks the aux. And what that means is, the auxiliary cord. Because, and that's back before now Bluetooth and everything.
I was just saying, for the kids who are listening, that's back when you had to give an aux cable to somebody before you could connect your car with Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Okay, so don't give Shocks the aux because
I listen to everything.
Yeah.
Like they would think, oh, he's going to play this song, and next thing you know, I'm putting in Quiet Riot.
Yeah, Led Zeppelin, Guns N' Roses.
Stuff like that, right? So it used to be all of that. So I was listening to all types of music, and I remember my brother, he used to always play, 88.1, and he would play and blast it like loud, like just like to where the speakers couldn't even handle it, but he just have it that loud. And I would hear Boogie Down Productions, KRS-One and stuff like that, Public Enemy and everything like that. And my brother around the neighborhood, he was the rapper. And I wasn't into rap. Not I wasn't into rap. I wasn't rapping. I was just liking what I liked and whatever. So there's one time Eddie Murphy Raw came out.
Yeah. And
my mom is like one of those people that goes to church on Wednesday, Saturday, helps out, donates her time, does everything. Everything is around the church.
So she's not going to like the language Eddie Murphy's using.
Oh my gosh. No. She was like, we wanted to go, me and my two brothers, we were like, because we liked Eddie Murphy for all the movies that he had already that was out. And we were like, hey, we want to go see a thing. So my mom was like, okay, well, let me see it first. So that way I could see if it would, because it was like, AA was what they used to call it back then, adult compliment or whatever it's called.
So she went to see it without you to see if you could
see it.
She
went to go and see
funny.
It. She came back like she was Moses with 2 stones in her hand and her hair was gray. Like, you are not seeing this movie. So, of course, we went and saw the movie.
Yeah.
And the best part was, I was like, man, this guy is controlling the crowd. So you got to remember, I'm like 16, 17 at this time. I'm like, this guy's controlling the crowd, and there's no music. Like, I didn't understand the concept of stand-up comedy because it wasn't my thing at the time. Like, I was like, and he's just doing that. He's controlling the crowd. Master of ceremonies, MC type thing, and I got in, and I was fascinated by that, and the jokes are funny and everything. So then my brother goes to this party up at Markham and Eglinton, and I'm in the basement, and So freestyling and whatever, people are rapping and stuff like that. And then they passed me the mic and they're like, "You're gonna rap, Junior." They used to call me Junior. And they're like, "Yo, Junior, you gonna rap? You gonna rap like your brother? You gonna rap like your brother?" And I was like, "I don't know," but I was kind of tinkering a little bit at that time, you know.
Yeah.
So I did something, and literally, his name's Sean, and he came. I seen him not too long ago, and he just said to me, he said, "Man, you're good. You should stick at it."
What do you remember feeling in that moment when someone told you were good at it and you should stay at it?
To be honest, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. I didn't know if I was good. I didn't know what it was. I knew when I was writing it, because I'd spend time writing, like pages, like how people used to write in books. And I'd spend time writing around, but I didn't know. I didn't know anything, really. I was just writing and relating it, a lot of it, to just songs that I would hear, like Bryan Adams and Levert and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? And yeah, when he just said that, I was like, okay, I guess. And then I did a talent show at my school, and we became the rap group. We were called Critical Nation at the time, and Critical Step at the time. And
that went well?
Well, we were known at the school. Like, they're like, "Hey, these are the rapper guys," you know, like these guys, you know, like with the overalls with one unhatched, and like the Belle Biv DeVoe vibes.
Did your brother mind that you were good? Did your brother mind that you were doing this?
No, he was cool with it. He was cool. He was cool. He was doing all this other stuff, you know. So like, he wasn't really taking rap serious, right? He just rapped, right? And then after that, then I just I did the talent show, and I became that. And then what ended up happening after that was other people from other schools heard about us. Yeah. And then me, because I was more of the forefront. And they would come to my school to battle me. So like, they would literally, like, we'd be in geography class and someone knocking, "Yo, Shocks, there's people out." I was named Kyram B back then. And they'd be like, "Yo, Kyram." I don't know why it was Kyram. I really don't. I don't even have an answer for that one. But they'd be like, "Yo, Kyram, there's people downstairs by the gym. Yo, they're saying that there's rappers in the school and they want to battle." And we just pick up, like, literally the teacher's pointing the stick at
You'd walk out?
All of us. And the whole school would go down. And I think the teachers, well, obviously they knew, because the classrooms, and once it started buzzing around the school, I guess they were just there hoping that a fight didn't break out, right? And I would just battle these guys. And then I started winning them. Yeah. Then people started calling me out to go to schools in Kitchener, not for shows or anything, just to be like, drive up to Kitchener. There's a rapper up there.
To battle rap people.
To go battle rap people. Like, and I don't even know who these people are. So I just showing up, right? And it'd be these crowds. And I'm just rapping about.
That's wild. That's crazy.
Yeah. And then that's when I kind of was like, okay, maybe I think that's when I was probably like, maybe I'm a little good at this.
But this life you were leading is so wild to me, because you were going to school, you were not just rapping, you were battle rapping in your school, and also becoming like a strange touring assassin of battle rap, going around to different high schools and battle rapping. But you were also working at, was it Mother of Compassion Daycare?
Yes. So
your mom worked there, and brought you in. How old were you when you were working there while going to high school?
Yeah, I was. It started as a summer job. And in the early 90s, mid 90s, there was a lot of single mother. It was like a pandemic type situation, epidemic, where, so they started attaching daycares to high schools. And because there was not a lot of, like just single mothers, I was one of the only male influences that were at this daycare. So when the summer was over, they asked me if I wanted to stay on. And I liked the independence of having a paycheck and stuff like that. Like, I could do my own stuff. I didn't pay rent or anything. I was just living at my mom. I was living at home. And I did that for 5 years. Working as a daycare teacher. I worked from kids from 6 months to 6 years old. We did all these things. A lot of them sometimes hit me up even to today. Like, I'm surprised how old they are, because then it makes me know how old I am.
But when you blew up, it must have been amazing for them. When Let's Ride blew up, they must have been like, "Oh my God, that's my old teacher. That's the old daycare."
Well, the crazy thing was, even before that. So I did a song with Jully Black called "What It Takes."
That won a Juno.
Yeah, won the Juno. I was working at the daycare at that time. Parents coming from high school would see me taking care of their kids, right? Because I was the teacher.
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, hey, yeah, I saw you on Rap City. I saw you on TV. I saw you on TV. Yeah, okay. How was Rashawn today? He was cool. Yeah, okay. And then Northern Touch comes.
You were still working at the daycare when Northern Touch came out?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah. The way the song came together was that I was at, this is back like before everybody had cell phones, so they actually called work. Like, so like someone's like
funny.
Called Saul Guy and Big C, they called, and at this time I had What It Takes out and a bunch of other records, and I was putting a bunch of other people's records out at that time. And they called me and got on the phone and like, hey, we have this song with the Rascals, who I knew already from back then, and this new guy named Checkmate. And we wanted to see if you wanted to go and do it. We're going to see if Thrust wants to be a part of it as well. And I was like, yeah. So again, back then they had to ship the tapes. So they shipped the big 2-inch tapes.
And you were at work. You were at the daycare.
Yeah.
And what did the parents say when they saw you on Northern Touch, which was a gigantic hit?
Oh, there was, at that point now, like, it started to become a little bit of a distraction because there was this wall where you walk around or whatever and you would see, look into the daycare, like, playground area, and people would just hang out.
Yeah.
To talk to me. And I'm like, I can't really talk right now because,
I'm looking after these children.
Yeah, Ryan's over there and he looks like he's going to fall off the swings or something like that. Like I got to work. And that's when I had to make a choice. Because they were like, you're here and you're not here. Because I was touring now with the Rascals.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't there every day. And especially for some of the kids, I was like their male influence.
Yeah.
And they're like, if you're not here for 2 weeks and you come back for a week and this and that, like we got to, and then I decided that this is what I wanted to do, and I went into music.
I mean, you were doing it for so long. I can't get over how much you were working. I mean, back when you were in high school, you go to high school, you go to your after-school job at the daycare. You'd go from the east to the west side of Toronto, spend all night in a studio. You start your own independent label, Knee Deep Records, in the 90s. In a few short years, you release your own EP, dozen records of other artists, first international releases of Kardinal Offishall, Jully Black, Saukrates, Solitaire, Tara Chase, others who go on to become, like, as I mentioned earlier, like, music royalty. How did you do it? Like, how did you keep up that pace? Why did you do it? What was hip hop giving you that you were just working so hard?
That's I never really thought about that. I don't know what it was giving me. I just knew that I loved to do it. I liked the fact that it was something that I liked to do, which was when I started getting more into writing and stuff and whichever I got, and then I met up with Sox and then met Cardi and Julie and everybody. It was just something that we liked to do. I was just hanging out with friends, like we go to the studio. It was the thing that we did, like how people would just go to somebody's house and hang out and kick it for the day. We would go to a studio and just record and do stuff. And the opportunity came for literally, actually, I was giving up on rapping because I was dropping my tapes off at record labels and stuff like that. And, nobody's biting. You didn't know anybody. You had no in. So, so I just wanted to be like a record executive.
Yeah.
And
A&R and that kind of thing.
A&R and stuff. And me and my manager at the time, Day, we were just sitting around and we were like, we just do this record and whatever. And Day did this song with Sox called Father Time. And so we're like, all right, let's put this together. I remember coming home, showing my mom. I was so happy with it. I was like, Mom, I own a business. I think it was 300 University Street, wherever you go to register your stuff. And I was like, I'm a business owner. I was so happy about that, right? Like, I was like, I own something. And
she said, let me listen to the lyrics and give me it. I'm only kidding. I'm only kidding. Yeah.
And I did that. And we needed a B-side. Literally, we just needed, we had Father Time, which did really well, and we needed a B-side. And I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll write something. And I wrote 21 Years.
Yeah.
And Father Time took off, blew up, did huge stuff and everything. And I remember listening to DJ X on the radio, and somebody calls in, and they're like, yeah, Father Time is a really great record, but you really need to check out this guy on the B-side. And I was like, listening to it, and then X goes, yeah, you know what? Maybe we should check out this song. And then I played it, and it was 21 Years. And then that single took off. Like, Father Time was already doing good, but now all of a sudden, 21 Years, and DJ Premier is jumping on it and putting it on his Reality Check 101 album and everything. And then we're like, well, what are we going to do now? Because we have no artists. I guess I'll write a song. Oh, well, let me introduce you to this girl, Jully Black. then we did What It Takes.
So this was so you were just doing one foot after another. No, like one just going.
There was no plan and strategy at that time. It was like, and I don't even know how we afforded it, to be honest. Really.
Yeah.
Like I had it because I was working at the time, so I had my little whatever. Like I was getting like $200 every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like I was
in daycare.
But I would just work and do that. So I don't know how we afforded to do what we did, but we put out that record. Then after Father Time, then we put out What It Takes, and that went on to go and win a Juno. And we were like, well, what the hell do we do now?
But was there a bit of a stigma towards Canadian hip hop at the time?
Yeah, absolutely. We would go and we would do freestyles with people, and they would be like, oh yeah, let this guy come in because he's from Boston or he's from Philly or something like that. And what they would always say is, what they were saying ultimately was that he's American, so he's better.
Legit. He's better.
He's better. And then he would suck.
Yeah.
Really, like he wasn't that good. And I just believed in because I was listening to Ghetto Concept and the Rascals and Dream Warriors, Maestro and Michi Me. I was listening to these people. I'm like, they're not better than this person, and I just believed that we were good enough. And I always hated the fact that you put a video out or somebody put a video out, Rascals or people would put a video out and they'd be like, that's good for Canadian.
Yeah. Would you get that in the States? Would you go to the States and they'd say that to you? Would you get that attitude in the States?
Never.
Really?
No. They didn't consider it. One thing that I remember back then is what they would always say is that, they would never say the city you're from. They just say he's Canadian. He's from Canada, or something like that. But up here we second rated ourselves. Like we weren't, it was good but not good enough.
Oh, you mean like internally there was a stigma? Like within Canada, there was this feeling that because we're Canadian, we're not as good as what's happening out of New York and happening out
Because then you got to remember, like around that time, then you have the whole Bad Boy era, Death Row era.
Yeah.
Outkast was just coming out.
Yeah.
So you had all of this music going on and everything like that. And we only had, literally, we probably had 4 or 5 artists that at that time somebody could say their name, like Maestro, Rascals.
Yeah, Dream Warriors,
yeah. Michi, Thrust, or, other people and stuff. And so up here, people would just look at us like, okay, yeah, you're good for a Canadian. He's a good Canadian artist. Not an artist, you're a good Canadian artist. I hate it when people say, oh, Canadian rap. It's like, it's rap. I'm just from Canada. You don't say Tennessee rap or Ohio rap or something like that. It's just rap. Yeah. And I just started seeing that, and that's when I started giving it pride. And Sox and Cardi came up with the T.O. or K Force actually came up with it first, and then we kind of just brought it in, and T.O. and everything like that. And I remember hearing it for the first time when somebody was watching a sports highlight, and they're like, "Yes, the T.O." And I was like, "Wow, somebody's saying that."
Reppin' everywhere I go. Million people at your door. This is where we calling home. I'm from the.
It was mind blowing. I was like, wow.
I knew about the T.O. I remember growing up in Newfoundland and hearing I think it was you guys. It was Cardi saying T.O. It was. Sean Desmond had that song. This is how we rock it in the T.O. Yeah.
And then that's when I before that still, but it was cool to see that. But there was people were taking pride in the city.
I will go to my grave a happy man because I just got to sing "This Is How We Rock It in the T.O." with Choclair. Let's play a big hit. Take a listen to this.
People hear me coming, so haters got mad work, but understand it's all about the swab, Diggy Dogs. Let's ride. If you're feeling my vibe, then we can all just ride. If you wanna get down, then we can all just ride. All my people, throw your hands up high and just ride. Where you from, east side or west side, just ride. All my people
from the album Ice Cold in 1999, an album that went gold in Canada in just 35 days, and actually an older song than that, but that's Let's Ride from Choclair. Let's talk about that song. Got started in a parking lot, I heard. Sort of maybe some argument between you and Cardi.
So me, Sox, and Road Dollar, we were from the East End, and Cardi, Solitaire, Marvel, Anthem, Why Look, they're all from the West End. So whenever we would meet up, we'd all, me, Sox, and Roll, would all be in either Sox's car or my car. And and they would come and we would meet up. So we were standing in front of government, which is probably condos now.
You could say anything really and say it's probably condos.
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Yeah.
And I had my Flintstone mobile, which was a '82 Lynx, and I call it because the floor was so rusted you had to stop the car with your feet. And I didn't have a radio, so we had to hang the 2 detachable speakers from the Ghetto Blaster and put them on the sun visors.
That's so funny.
And I didn't steal, but took my mom's big speaker, put it in the trunk, connected it with extension cord cables and ran it along the floor, and had to buy 8 triple D batteries, whatever it was. And we pulled up in front of the government. We were pounding, thinking that we're looking cool, and the batteries die. So there's no more music. Yeah. So we had to go and get batteries. I literally had to go get batteries so I can listen to music. And so we're parked up, and we're in the parking lot. And at this time, Sox, Solitaire, and Cardi, Roe as well, they were producing, and we'd always share beat tapes and see what's up. So Sox gives Cardi his, and Cardi gives Sox his. And we're listening to beats. We're all just sitting outside, and I hear "Let's Ride." And
you hear that beat?
I hear the beat. Yeah. I heard the beat, and I was like, I go to Cardi. I was like, yeah, I like this one. Now, Cardi always calls me Latte for chocolate latte. He'd be like, Latte, Latte. This beat's a little bit fast. Do you think you could do it? And I was like, well, give me a shot, right? Like, I think this is good, right? Let me try something. He's like, okay, all right. And then he goes, and I remember this specifically. He goes to Sox, yo, make sure that, because you guys are from the East, you guys are East End man, right? Like, he's like, yo, you're an East End man, so you guys make sure you go in the studio to make sure that Shox isn't doing a voiceover.
Doing a voiceover?
Like he's gonna say it was him that's rapped on the beat.
Oh, that's so funny. That's so
so
funny.
He's like, so that way, because like he's gonna come and say whatever, and then you got to make sure that he's here. So
he's really doing it.
Yeah. So you can go and make sure that it's authentic. And that's why Sox is at the beginning of the song.
And then you were on one of the most, we were talking about it earlier, one of the most iconic Canadian hip-hop songs of all time.
Y'all know the deal. If you don't, ask my man Wild Dog. He'll tell you the circle, rock the spot. Represents like my Northwest connects rascals that make the cash flows indeed. Yo, I down the Gold Schlager, Big C, pump the Choclair with the mouth colorful like the currency. Ain't nobody
Northern Touch by Rascals, Kardinal Offishall, Checkmate Thrust, and my guest Choclair. I want to ask you this about Northern Touch. You performed that song at the 1999 Junos, the year after Rascals had refused their award because it wasn't being televised. You had won a Juno before yourself as well. So in 99, Northern Touch not only wins the Juno, but Canadian hip-hop is on Canadian television. Mm-hmm. How did it feel on stage that night?
It felt a little bit surreal because I was around all these other celebrities. Right,
yeah.
Like when I won the Junos in '97 with Jully Black, it was the Saturday dinner gala.
I should say for people who don't know, the night before the Junos, there's a dinner where 95% of the awards are given out.
Yeah,
and it's not televised.
It's not televised. Yeah. You sit there and it's a dinner, and and it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah,
but and some people are there. Most of the megastars, you would probably not see Bryan Adams there. Unless there was something special going on for him, right?
Yeah.
So then now we're on the Sunday show, and I'm around all these Alanis Morissettes and Celine Dion's and all these other people. So it was kind of, and if you look at, there's an old picture, you could probably find it somewhere, and I'm wearing I have goggles on the top of my head and hats and gloves, and it's just a full late 90s hip hop outfit, let's just say.
Yeah.
And so that's how I'm walking around meeting, all these people, Moist and I Mother Earth and everybody else, Did
it feel amazing it must have felt something on stage. I can only imagine, it must, because I've heard Cardi talk about it, it was a big deal to be.
It was huge.
By the way, it was a big deal that should have happened a long time before that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like it should have been happening 10 years before that. But it was a big deal that the no had been said, and then Canadian hip hop was being celebrated on TV.
Yeah, and the best part about it was when we came out, the audience knew who we were. Right? It wasn't oh, here's this band, and you probably don't know who they are, but we're supporting Canadian hip hop and blah blah blah. No, the Northern Touch came out, and all these people wearing gowns and dresses and bow ties and suits, and they're all standing up. And here I am with goggles on my head and gloves and, and tin
yeah.
boots.
But they knew you. That song was so big.
They knew the song, and that was a very special feeling. It was, and then we won it. That was like, there's nothing that's going to take that type of feeling away. It was a beautiful feeling, and especially because the Rascals made a stand the year before, and I think the Junos, in a way, felt that they had to do something, but they also had something to do it with.
Yeah.
Like they weren't just, we're just going to grab somebody and be like, yeah, see, look, we're supporting hip hop and stuff like that, and we're just going to do it to do it. It was like, no, this is a song, and we're going to do it. We're going to make them perform on TV, and do all of this and give them all the, all the confetti flowing in the air and everything like that. And it was a huge deal, and that was a really big deal.
Do you feel like, I was saying at the beginning that Toronto hip hop is so big right now, and Canadian hip hop is so big right now. Do you feel like you guys get your due, like the people who helped build this thing?
I think in a way, yes. I think in a way, I think there's a little bit of a generational gap. And this is not just for here. I think in music in general, hip hop in general.
Hip hop in general, because I've talked about this before, that I find that like rock, like Led Zeppelin and Eagles and Aerosmith and Fleetwood Mac.
Nobody tells those guys to stop.
Yeah.
Nobody tells them to retire. Nobody says they're old. Well, they are old, but like nobody says anything like that.
Yeah.
And finding like in hip hop, like they're like, oh, you're 40.
Yeah.
Stop. You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, Aerosmith's like 76 or something like that. And I find that that's one of the things. But then I can't really blame people themselves for it, because people also have to understand hip hop is still very young.
Yeah.
Like our legends are in their 50s and 60s, touching 70s.
Yeah.
Right? Where you have hundreds of, well, not hundreds, but 100 years of, like, say, rock or country or bluegrass and whatever.
Yeah.
And nobody says, oh, this Led Zeppelin song is old.
Yeah.
But they might say, oh, this other song, this hip hop song is old, or the artists are old, or whatever. And I find I think it's just more of it's more of like, we haven't made that, or we're just making that full circle of our generations of music in hip hop. Our people who came and really touched the thing, like Kool Moe Dee and LL Cool J in there.
But in Canada, it was like a dozen of you built this thing that is the biggest thing now.
Well, like I
know
see,
you did the Drake concert, which I thought was great, the Drake show. He brought up all the legends of Canadian hip hop.
Yeah, and that was really cool to see, because I think that was, and I think he did a good thing with that, because for us who's been around and helped create what is now easier for other artists to do, younger cats to do, is like he was showing acknowledgement. Like you do the Hip Hop Honors Awards and they'll honor Queen Latifah. Like now I see people actually honoring Michie Mee.
Yeah.
I think she was just on Family Feud the other day. The other day. But it's like people you can't, it's like that's Michie or that's Maestro.
Yeah.
Like it's not like, oh, he's an old head or she's an old head or
these are legends. These
are
pioneers.
legends.
These are builders.
And like these people that I think, as us being, I guess, elder statesmen, I know we should help mentor more. But I also think in the same way, the younger cats should also look into what and why this situation is happening, because just in anything, it's like, who has the battle scars on them?
Yeah. Who had to drive and drop off tapes? Who had to do a lot?
And
get a lot of disrespect and get a lot of,
and just to make it so it's easier, and it wasn't easy. And then the fact that I'm still here 20 some odd years later, like I have nothing to thank, but I have only my supporters and fans to thank, because they kept me going.
Man, thank you so much for coming in. I'm such a big fan. We're such big fans here. It's really cool to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me here. I really appreciate it.